So you all know by now that I speak a lot about pretty privilege, specifically on how to attain it and use it to your advantage. Throughout the comments on various videos in which I discuss pretty privilege, there's a particular pattern that I have noticed, and not only on my videos, but in also other content creator videos that also discuss pretty privilege. And it's the comments that state that looks don't matter and we shouldn't adhere to beauty standards because it's toxic and there are better things to focus on, like your health, making more money, your career, etc. Which, in a sense, I can see where they're coming from because they are right to an extent. Having a hyperfixation on looks and beauty standards can lead to someone having lower self-esteem, self-loathing, self-absorption, and just a lack of focus in other important areas of their life. However, none of those things negate the fact that your looks, your physical appearance does indeed matter a lot. And in fact, in many situations, that's the only thing that actually matters, especially when you want to get access to certain spaces. Your looks can get you in those spaces or those rooms, but they won't keep you in the room, which is another topic for another day. Beauty standards give you a template on the type of physical beauty that is most desirable in the society that you're in. The standards do withstand time, but they're also pretty moldable and they do change as time goes on, which is actually a good thing in a sense because you can mold the standards to what you deem as beautiful. But what I have noticed in these comments in particular is that there's just a lot of dishonesty. Like the comments I've just previously mentioned about how looks don't matter. If looks don't matter and neither do pretty privilege related content, why do so many people tune into pretty privileged content? And this type of content is created by people from different races across the board, black, white, mixed, Asian, and in between, and somehow are all experiencing very similar situations. And there are tons of videos about look maxing, subliminals on how to be prettier, and thousands upon thousands of people consume that content. And whenever there's a video on how to look better and improve your physical appearance, I can guarantee that it's going to do relatively well. And you know, something else that I've noticed is that when you want to appeal to the masses, especially women, the content that appeals to women the most is either pretty privileged content or content that involves men, whether it's how to get a man or how some revolve their content around what they believe is that men are trash. Usually that content does really well amongst women. And I've also noticed this on TikTok quite a bit. It's usually a woman, or it can happen to a man as well. They could be talking about a very serious topic and there'll be people saying, or there'll be people commenting under the video, off topic, but you're so pretty. Or what I've seen a lot of actually is when someone shares that they're experiencing a family or friend loss or is going through a relationship breakup of some sort, people will be in the comment section saying, "You're so beautiful, you didn't deserve that," or "You're so pretty, I wish you get well soon," as if their beauty is some sort of shield that is supposed to protect them from the hardships of life. And I get that some people don't mean any harm by saying these things, but it reiterates to me the shallow nature of human beings. Even amongst the worst conditions in someone's life, their physical appearance will still be at the forefront of most people's minds. And it's not just online that I see this, but also in real life. And people make it a point to highlight something or someone when they find it or find them beautiful. The ways in which they do so is either by complimenting and giving a lot of unsolicited attention, or they could also hate them and try to humble them and degrade them. A few weeks ago, I made a video about how people can make a pretty unnecessarily big deal out of you just simply looking put together because you stand out amongst the rest. And they do this by saying things like, "Oh, who are you dressed up for?" And in my head, I'm like, me, obviously. Who else? Why do I need to dress up for someone just to justify wanting to look good and feel good about myself, right? If looks don't matter, then people wouldn't be talking about how they haven't experienced pretty privilege and how they wished they could actually experience it and benefit from it, and going viral by doing so. And I find it even more amusing when I see these type of comments about looks not mattering, because a lot of these comments come from women, right? Which is ironic because many women, if not all, are vanity driven to an extent. Notice how when women are arguing with each other or someone else in general, the opposing side's physical appearance always gets brought up, even if the topic at hand had nothing to do with the looks. You'll hear comments like, "You're not even that cute. You're ugly anyways. You're built like a headboard," or things of the sort, out of nowhere. And that's because women are fixated on physical appearance. We have to be honest. And this also applies to men as well, but they're not the topic of discussion right now. There's a common misconception about women who choose to fully indulge themselves into their pretty privilege by making sure that their physical appearance always looks top tier. And these women are often stereotyped as being airheads, self-absorbed, mean, extremely judgmental, and all those and the related synonyms. And while for some that may be the case, women who are deemed as quote unquote unattractive can also have all those traits as well. In my opinion, pinning those traits exclusively on attractive women or just women who want to be feminine presenting is one of the ways in which patriarchal societies demonize women. By shaming a woman for being feminine presenting and wanting to indulge in being quote unquote pretty and pretty privilege related things, they try to discourage her by being herself and try to make her fit into a mold that they have for her. And it's essentially a humbling tactic. I wouldn't be surprised if these stereotypes were started by a man or a group of men who couldn't get with the attractive woman that they wanted and got rejected by her. So they started these rumors and went on to defame her character. Or it could have been started by other women who were jealous of a particular attractive woman and wanted to reach the same level of beauty perhaps as her. But for some reason, they found it unattainable. So who really knows who started these stereotypes? What do you all think? Where do you think these stereotypes of women who are pretty or women who just want to look like their best selves come from? Some women have completely opted out of wanting to attain pretty privilege for various reasons. Maybe because it's too much work for them, or it's caused them to be more insecure about themselves, or they just haven't been able to get what they wanted by using their looks. And that is okay. And actually, for some, that is their solution in building their self-esteem and having peace within themselves, not partaking in beauty politics and redirecting their energy to enhance other aspects of themselves, like their intelligence, their career, is the answer for some women. Sometimes some people tend to have the tendency to impose this way of thinking onto other women who want to maximize their physical appearance to reap as many benefits as possible. And the main reason why I think that is because of sexual competition. Attracting the male gaze is what most women compete for the most. And women can feel threatened by other women when they think the other women are doing better than them in that arena. If we could all understand that as women, we can all exist in the same stratosphere, regardless of how we look like, we'd actually have an easier time navigating the world. Personally, I don't think the solution is to completely opt out of participating in beauty. Instead, I think it's better to mold and carve a space for yourself within the current systems in place to your benefit. As cliche as it sounds, beauty is indeed in the eye of the beholder, meaning you may be stunning to someone, but average looking to someone else. And again, that is okay. That's why I created a Pretty Privilege series centering unambiguous dark-skinned Black women. Although a lot of the things I mention in those videos can be relatable for people of all skin tones and shades, the aim of the game is to look like your best version and go where you're celebrated, because it's very much possible and attainable to benefit from pretty privilege. What do you all think about the sayings, looks that matter, especially in spaces where looks are discussed? This can turn into a pretty nuanced topic because Of course, there are a lot of angles in which one can view it from. So I'm interested in hearing about your thoughts, and I'll see you in the next one.